3, 2, 1, action. Honorable Discharge is a veteran-operated platform. Sometimes the humor will be dark, the humor will be dry, the intelligence will be high. Consider the stories you hear as entertainment. There, that is your safety brief and your disclaimer. Oh, wait. YouTube, this music is by Xandria Caesar. That is my sister. She gave me permission. All right. Alright, welcome on board Honorable Discharge. I am your pilot, Michael Caesar III. Please say the third. The song you just heard is from the lovely vocals from my sister, Xandria. The song is called 1111 Avenue, Had to Go. Please go check out our channel. So, Honorable Discharge, the title by itself just being dope, it basically means you left the military service on a good note. I came up with the concept a few years ago, rest in peace, after my dad died. I wanted somewhere to vent. I wanted somewhere to talk, to therapy. Then after I recorded a few episodes, played them back, I realized that wasn't the proper form to get out any kind of emotions or get out any kind of trauma that I had or just get out anything that was in my system at the time. So I pulled it back. I think I deleted all of those videos. They never saw the internet. I may have one clip left that I might post up later just as a compare and contrast to where I was at to where I'm at now. So I started this because I didn't see too many veteran platforms that also talked about the things that I liked, which would be film, hip-hop, tech, science, of course veteran topics, and lifestyle things. I had a segment called Lit Linguistics. I also started this with one of my best friends. The segment was being, we would smoke, being veterans, we had to cure some of our ailments. So we would smoke and we would talk about current events, talk about topics that were just popping around and the things that we liked. Now I'll probably make a playlist with that later because it's very raw, it's not edited. I think they're extremely funny in my opinion, but I procrastinated too much on that and too much time passed to where it just never came out. But I think if I do a playlist just to see how the world receives them and talks about them, I think that'd be fun. But like I said, I gave that disclaimer, and I'll make another video giving a disclaimer that these are older. We were smoking sativas or indicas or hybrids, and we were just talking shit. The humor you're gonna get on here will be my humor, which is gonna be dry, which is gonna be dark. And look, what can I say? I'm a product of my environment, I'm a product of the military. My ultimate goal on this platform is to have people, but especially veterans, to have something they can listen to and be entertained for the 30 minutes or the few hours that I talk, to get some info about some things they didn't know about, to educate the public to what veterans go through, and hopefully bring some awareness to the things that we go through. And if I start making money off here, I do plan on either creating a veteran program, or I can get some suggestions from the comments on programs to donate to, because I donated once before for some years and then found out that that program was full of shit. So I don't want to go through that again. I'm gonna do my research thoroughly this time. Also, what you're gonna get on this show is that I'm gonna end, not this show, I think I'm gonna call them journeys. Yeah, we're gonna journeys and trips, that's what I call them. So we're gonna begin with a positive story and end with a positive story, because the media social media, the world, we get bombarded by so much negative news that I just feel like there needs to be somewhere to counteract that. I remember I stopped watching local news, and what the fuck I keep doing that? I stopped watching local news for a while because it was just negativity, and I just did for the first time in probably decades. And of course, back to back, death, murder, violence, racial violence, death. So I was like, yeah, nothing changed back there. All right. Now that we're taking off, so the first positive story. Lego has come out with a line of braille bricks for children that are blind and visually impaired. Now, braille is the raised dots on a surface that is used for a written language for blind people. I'm pretty sure that we have all seen braille on restroom signs out in the public, or just in your general life, you've probably seen braille somewhere. The bricks are going to come in blue, green, red, yellow, and white. Each of the braille bricks will have printed letters and symbols, and they're going to have studs that match the letters and symbols and the numbers on each of the bricks. Now, as you will learn if you stick around for some time and get to know me, you will see that special needs is something that's close to me. My first job was working with special needs kids, teenagers, and adults, and it gave me a vast amount of appreciation for life and humanity. So anything that includes and it doesn't further separate people with special needs is dope to me. I'm trying to think what I want to talk next. You know what? Let's jump right into hip hop. So, since I started recording this, it may be a few weeks behind, but I don't really mad about that. One of my favorite rappers, one of the greatest rappers of all time, Wayne, he came out with 2 new songs, kinda. He came out with a song called Cat Food and the new Undisputed theme song. So, Cat Food is produced by Charlie Handsome, FNZ, and Roger Shaheed. And Roger Shaheed has been a really popping producer in the past few years. I believe he did Sicko Mode, and he did some songs with Doja Cat. The song is has Missy credited as a writer, and I'm pretty sure that's only because the song samples Work It. So on the song, Wayne, he spells the cat with a K. Wayne is still replacing his C's with a K. Big Blood Wayne still out here, claim they 5 stars but sell you dreams. I'm just talking shit, Wayne. It's Wayne in one of his elements, one of his favorite topics, which is talking about his love for vagina. Now, if you're a Wayne fan, we know that he went through a really deep phase about his love for vagina. In fact, he's still in it. But there's one point in time where I really stopped caring and stopped checking for his bars, because every bar was pussy, 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 skateboard, pussy, 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 gun talk, skateboard, pussy, pussy, pussy. And I was like, shit. I was like, yo, did Wayne just lose his virginity in his 30s? Like, he really became fascinated by a new topic. But I guess he's been making music since he was a kid, so he might have ran out of things to rap about. But I still think he's one of the greatest rhymers of all time. He puts together and strings together words and bars that we've never heard before. I don't know. I'm going to find some bars I like. All right, I like the opening flow before the beats start. So Wayne says, I'm daydreaming. I'm codeine, I'm slow walking, I'm floating Houdini. My hoe, she screaming. For more, she fiending. I just turned her daydreams to wet dreams. No bikini. I just like the rhyming pattern on that. He also said, diamonds in my mouth, I eat her out. Now her pussy glowing. Now, that's funny and creative to me, and that's why Wayne is one of the GOATs. I cannot ever hate too much on his bars, because even when you think Wayne stops rapping well, he'll drop a feature and smoke the entire track and not waste one line. Oh, he also said cat out that cat suit. Oh, cat hanging out that cat suit. Ooh, Serena. I like that shout out to Serena Williams, because she got talked about real bad for having that black Nike suit. Even the French Tennis Federation banned the outfit. If you don't know about that, I think you should look that up. It's a good part of history in women's sports to show you, just to overcome things. And it's talks about it's another topic about how the black woman's body is also looked at, man. I think Wayne dropped that song because he might be coming out with a new project, and he's also performing it at the VMAs next month, or he might have just wanted a new song to perform at the VMAs. Now, Wayne's Undisputed song was probably one of the greatest. It was the greatest sports theme song that we had so far. I'm not gonna say it's one of the greatest intros to a TV show. I guess it'd be up there on that list, man. I wish I had a lighter flick for Wayne, because this new song, he really came through for his homie Skip. And Wayne is really dope when it comes to concept rapping. I don't think he gets his props enough, his recognition enough for doing that. When you just give Wayne a subject matter, it's like he turns into Wikipedia, or he goes to Wikipedia or Google, which I'm pretty sure most artists do, and he really goes off on that subject. But my favorite Wayne form is that when he just gets on a beat and there is no subject and he's just rapping his ass off with conviction. I don't think he can be fucked with that. Like, if you just get him on a feature and say, Wayne, you know what, just rhyme. Just rhyme for a minute or two. Get off 50 bars. Get off whatever you need to feel good about this song. Wayne started off with a skip the BS. I put everybody after VS. PS, I spit all FACTS. Unconventional, controversial, convoluted, unconditional, undeterred, and undisputed. When he said that, man, I had a screw face, and I was really happy for Skip for getting that out of Wayne, and I was happy for Wayne for just. It seems like him and Skip's relationship is really dope and really genuine. You may not. It may look weird because Wayne is some years older than Skip, but Wayne's a big sports fan, and Skip is kind of like him in the sports world, like he was in the rap way. He just they both take their craft really serious. And congrats to Wayne for being to me, he's rap's Michael Jackson. He's elevated and stayed relevant from his childhood to his 40s, and we don't see that too much more in rap. Shit, what else happened? Oh, Busta and Coi Leray, Busta Rhymes, they teamed up again for Luxury Life. I've listened to the song maybe 3 times today. I think it's cool, man. It's produced by Swiss Beats, and I always love when rappers do the pick and roll, bouncing bars off each other. If the song sounds familiar, that's because it samples Jay and Foxy Brown's Ain't No Nigga, which samples the whole darn family's 7 minutes. Now, I haven't listened to much Coi Leray like in its entirety. I've heard verses here and I've heard bars here. I've only heard maybe like 5 songs of hers. But if she raps like this, I'm gonna have to get into it more. She had this little pocket that she had. She was like, come on, Buster. I'm immaculate the way I'm attacking. These women tracking it. They're asking how I'm having it. Put numbers on the board, billboard. That's where I'm trapping at. Big plaques, platinum and gold, up in my habitat. Living my best life while they mad at that. Already went #1, yeah, they can have it back. I did a little silent golf clap after I heard her say that. And then Buster was on there rapping too. I don't think I've ever heard a whack verse from Buster. I'm not extremely familiar with his entire career. I think I came around listening to him probably when I first started listening to rap, which is like in the early 2000s. So I would have to backtrack to his early catalog. But since then, I've kept up with most of his music he came out with. I like when he said, the way I function, you trying to figure out my mechanicals. Fuck flowers, it's time to give me the whole botanical. See, when I pull up, park at the intersection, you see me, you're supposed to see yourself in my reflection. That's some really dope bars, and I understand the meaning behind it, because when I hear people mention greatest rappers all the time or top rap lists, you never hear Busta's name on top. I never see it on the list. And I think he's just tired of being looked over the list. I know he's gotten some shit in the past few years from people say trying to take away the contribution that Black Americans had to hip hop. I'll have to look it up, but I believe he was saying that man, you know what? I'm not even gonna go to it because I don't have the right facts. But I know it was another group. I want to say, was it Haitian? Not Haitian, but it was another group that he was saying that deserves more credit for creating rap along with Black Americans. Akon dropped the EP called Afro Freak. I haven't finished listening to it. I'm still going through that and Dame Lillard's Don Dollars album, which is amazing so far. And I believe Dame is coming for a top spot in rap. I haven't heard a whack verse from Dame yet. And I believe he takes it, I know he takes it just as serious as he does his basketball career. The single from Akon's Afro Freak is Loco. I looked and I couldn't find a producer for the song, but while I had it playing in the background, man, it's very upbeat and infectious. I was moving. I had to stop myself, make sure nobody was looking at me. I was moving around, you know what I'm saying, while I was typing. Akon is another one of those global artists. I haven't heard music from him in a long time, but I remember he ran like my teenage years on the charts, and he was the hook guy. In my life, it's been a few hook guys, like T-Pain and Akon. I think Akon is gonna be his next project. It sounded really dance-ish, very Afrobeatish, and I think he wants to make something more globally to even add to his resume. All right, shit, the greatest rapper of all time. Well, the greatest technical rapper of all time, in my opinion. Lupe Fiasco announced that he will be a Saybrook Fellow at Yale University. Now, Saybrook is for independent study and research, including internships or being part of a research team. Now, this continues a trend for Lupe of being at universities. He's also a visiting professor at MIT. He has a very fascinating lesson on YouTube of him at MIT talking theory and the history of rap. It's really long, man. It's about as long as a Chris Nolan film. So check it out in segments if you have to. I suggest that anyone that calls themselves a rap fan listen to what Lupe has to say, and the way he's breaking down hip hop. It's very fascinating. And if you know Lupe's music and his messaging, this isn't very far off to him to be at universities teaching. I probably could have called this when I first heard him when I was a teenager, and it's very on brand for him. And if I ever sat down and wrote down a list of what I've learned from Lupe and what I've learned in high school and some of college, Lupe might beat them out, because Lupe is one of those artists where I get very immersive in rap. So when I listen to songs, I go to Genius, or before Genius, I would Google and look up anything that I didn't understand. Any kind of reference, from the people he would talk about, to cars, to clothes, to guns, to drugs, to historical events. Like, cause if it's a song that I like to be immersed into the lyrics. Man, let me skip over. I think I'm gonna say that for later. Let's talk some basketball. Now, I'm such a basketball fan. I grew up in Texas, where football is the second largest religion. Well, it might be the first largest religion. I'm not even joking about that. But I was always taller. I'm 6'1", so growing up, I would always be the tallest amongst my peers. I never was great at playing basketball. I played it for a hobby. I think I tried out for my middle school team. I didn't make it. I'm pretty sure I could have made it, but I just never had the outside motivation. I wasn't to keep going at it. You know, my parents had me do a lot of stuff growing up. I was really active. They tried their best, which they did, to keep me off the streets and not involved in BS. So I never really had too much of a chill moment until I got to be around maybe 15 or 16. But, man, so when the playoffs start, I get sad. When the finals start, I get even more sad. Then when they end, I guess a wave of sadness that comes over me, because I don't have basketball to watch every night. But thanks to YouTube, I want to say thank you to Stephen Chin, Chad Hurley, and Jawad Kairim. I think I said his name right. If I didn't, I apologize. For creating YouTube, because now I can go back and watch. I can watch runs. I can watch Rico Hines runs. I can just watch pickup games. I can watch street ball games. I can watch documentaries. I can watch older games from when I was the 90s, the 80s, the 2000s, when I was growing up. And it just keeps my basketball fix going. Like, I just binge watched, what's the name of the show? Swagger. Shout out to Kevin Durant for that show. It's pretty dope. I'm currently watching Winning Time. So in the off season, I always have, now I have a basketball fix until the season starts. But this year, we have Fiba going on, which is the International Basketball Federation, or it goes by the French acronym, the Fédération Internationale de Basketball, which is founded in 1932, Geneva, Switzerland. Now, FIBA has an organized men's cup since 1950. Then they brought the women's cup in 53, and both events are held 4 years alternating the Olympics. So I like basketball so much. I don't just pay attention to just the NBA. I mean, I watch women's basketball. Like I said, I watch street ball. I mean, sometimes I just go to the court just to post up and just watch people hoop, or go to a gym just to watch people hoop. I've tried to pay attention to all of the FIBA's game, but it's pretty overwhelming trying to watch all the nations play. So I cut it down, and I thought about making a separate channel for FIBA, but it's too much time has passed now, unless I just want to do a bunch of recaps. So I trimmed it down to trying to catch the games with popular NBA players. So I think we all know America has the players: Canada, Australia, the Bahamas, Dominican Republic, Slovenia. Who else? Greece has some players. I don't have a full list right now, but I'm gonna keep it in. So I'm about to bounce past through Team USA's games. You know, Team USA, the United States of Athletes. That was corny. I'm not editing that though. Too far in right now. So America got beat by the Germans, who have been whooping ass through the tournament. They're 7-0. They're being led by the Lakers, Dennis the Menace. Wait, no. He's a Raptor now. Dennis Schroeder and his fellow Germans have been kicking ass, man. Team USA is 5-2 at the moment. The German team just knocked America out of the gold medal play, 113 to 111. World War II vets, take a deep breath. I know y'all ain't go through that shit just to get beat by German basketball players in 2023. Andreas Obst led Germany with 25 points, 6 assists. The Indiana Pacers' Daniel Tice had 21, 7, and 2. Orlando Magic Franz Wagner had 22, 5, and 2. And Dennis the Menace finished off America with 17 points, 2 rebounds, and 9 assists. On the American side, Anthony Edwards continued to show us why he's one of the future of American hoops. With I believe he had 23 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists. Austin Reeves had 21 points, 2 rebounds, and Mikal Bridges followed up with 17, 2, and 2. The second loss that America got was handed to by Lithuania, 110 to 104. Lithuania was led by Vidas Karanauskis with 15 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. Maidagas Kuzminkas had 14, 2, and 1. And the New Orleans Pelican Jonas Valanciunas had 12 points, 7 rebounds. On the American side, Anthony Edwards once again dropped 35 points, 1 rebound, 2 assists. The New York Knicks, Jalen Brunson, put up 14 points, 4 rebounds, 7 assists. The Mavericks, we dropped the ball on getting rid of Jalen Brunson. Man, he instantly went to the Knicks, got them to the playoffs, helped get them to the playoffs, and now he's on Team USA. All right, Mikal Bridges in that game had 14 points, 3 and 1. All right. America beat Montenegro 85 to 73. Again, we're led by Anthony Edwards with 17 points, 3 rebounds, and 1 assist. Austin Reeves had 12, 2, and 2. Jaren Jackson had 11 points and 1 assist. And Montenegro was steered by the Chicago Bulls' Nikola Vucevic, who had a nice double-double of 18 points, 16 rebounds. Kendrick Perry had 14 points, 2 rebounds, 6 assists. And Marko Semionovic had 9, 3, and 1. That's the next American game. All right, America beat Jordan 100 to 62. Wait, I think Michael Jordan could beat America 5-on-1? Maybe, I don't know. All right, the top scorers for America were Anthony Edwards with 22 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists. Bobby Portis had 13 points and 6 rebounds. And Jordan's leading scorer was former NBA player Rondé Hollis Jefferson, who dropped 20 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists. Freddie Ibrahim had 10, 4, and 4. All right, rolling. Next game, America beat Greece 100 to 81. Austin Reeves had 15, 5, and 6. Anthony Edwards had 13, 3, and 2. And Greece was carried by a former NBA player, Yorgos Papagiannis. It was a Giannis in there. With 17 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists. And Nikos Ragvakopoulos had 14, 4, and 1. Now this game I saw was buzzing around the internet, New Zealand, because they did New Zealand team did a haka dance in front of Team USA, maybe to flex on them or try to psych them out. But the dance is pretty cool. I've always enjoyed those dances from that culture, man. Pablo Banchero flexed with 21 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist. Anthony Edwards had 14 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists. Austin Reeves and Jaren Jackson had 12 points each. And New Zealand's Ruben Tarangi had 15 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist. And Shea Ilyi had 12, 4, and 5. Then the USA came out and booted Italy. Y'all see what I did there? 100-63. You know, this was the first game after all the hyperbole that came from losing to Lithuania. So I think America wanted to, I know they wanted to come out there and smack somebody. Mikal Bridges had 24 points, 7 rebounds, 1 assist. Tyrese Halliburton had 18, 4, and 4. And Italy was held down by the Utah Jazz. Simone Fontecchio with 18 points, 5 rebounds, and 1 assist. And Stefano Tonut had 11, 4, and 5. So that is the caught up record with USA FIBA hoops. They played Canada next for the bronze. And if you notice the trend, Anthony Edwards and Austin Reeves are breaking into even more star roles. And along with the rest of Team USA, man, I expect them to take this experience back to their respective teams and just add to their rosters. A big talking point is Brandon Ingram not being as relevant as people thought he would be. I thought it would be. Brandon Ingram's a great basketball player. But I guess in this system, he's not working. It may be some comments he made. Maybe coaches Steve Kerr and Eric Spoelstra are just trying to little bro him and tell him that it's bigger than one individual. Don't ever be questioning a team publicly like that. So like I said, next, America will play an NBA stacked Canadian team that also went 5-2. They lost to Brazil and Serbia. For Team Canada is being led by the Oklahoma City Thunder, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who is an all-star that's averaging 20 plus on the FIBA stage. And if you haven't watched them, check out the Canadian team, man. They're really fun to watch, man. And they have the third most NBA players with 7. Then Australia has 8. Then of course America has number 1. We got Shai Gilgeous plays for the Thunder, like I said. Dylan Brooks on the Rockets. R.J. Barrett is a Knick. Kelly Olynyk for the Jazz. Dwight Powell plays for the Mavs. Luguentz Dort plays for the Thunder. And Nickeil Alexander-Walker plays for the Timberwolves. What else around it out? Oh yeah, since I'm a Mavs fan, I've been paying attention to the Slovenian team just to watch Luka, who was almost averaging he almost averaged 27 points a game. But they got eliminated by Germany. But like I said, I just want to see Luka in the off season, and hopefully with a full training camp and some time off, him and Kyrie clicked up, linked up, talked some shit, chopped it up, and they'll do better on the court, because when they got Kyrie after the trade deadline, the season kind of went down, and I want to shoot them some bail and just say that was just because they didn't have time to jail, time to bond. Man, yeah. All right, I'm going to talk about let's go into film. Talk about some film and TV stuff next. Equalizer 3. Robert McCall back catching bodies. This time, it's always good to see a 60-year-old Denzel out here just killing people on screen. Because for the longest, people didn't see Denzel like that. But seeing him out there just, meticulously just being a serial killer, it's fun to watch. I took my mom to see it for her birthday. From what I know, Denzel is her favorite actor. A little bit too much. She be saying some things sometimes. Like, hey, mom, chill. It's Denzel, relax. All right. All right, so the movie is starring Denzel Washington and Dakota Fanning. If you wouldn't know it was Equalizer 3, you could definitely think it was a Man on Fire sequel. The films have the same kind of tone as Denzel being the main character and being somebody with a set of skills that knows how to handle himself. All right, so it's directed by the great Antoine Fuqua, known for him and Denzel won an Oscar for Training Day, Tears of the Sun, and Southpaw. He also did some music videos for Wayne, Stevie Wonder, and Prince. It's written by Richard Wink, who also wrote the first 2 of the Denzel Equalizers. So the whole crew is brought back. That's always dope when you keep that continuity when making a movie. The cinematography is done by Robert Richardson, who worked on Casino, Hateful Eight, Inglourious Bastards, Django, Kill Bill 1 and 2. So I'm noticing the trend as I'm reading that him and Quentin Tarantino seem to get along. And shout out to Robert Richardson because the movie looks great. The cinematography is awesome. Anton made sure to show off and capture the culture, the architecture, and the soul of the Italian town they were in on the sea. Since it's Denzel and Dakota Fanning, they have a previous, what's the word I'm looking for? They have a previous charisma and a previous like work relationship, so they got along really good on screen, man. The violence is what we've come to expect from the Robert McCall character. It's very calculated and very precise. I like how the shots lingered on the movements and you get close-ups of the wounds. It really gives you a visceral feeling of seeing the damage that Robert McCall delivered to these people. They filmed it in Italy on the Amalfi Coast, and then they moved it to Naples and moved it to Rome. So like I said, it's a very heavily Italian film. I watched some interviews, and this was always supposed to be the progression of the Equalizer series, was the Denzel Robert McCall character moving off somewhere to find his peace and it getting disrupted, and him finding his place in the world again and trying to keep his peace. The movie cost $70 million to make, and as of September 8th, it's made $75.9 million in ticket sales. It was the highest grossing movie over the Labor Day weekend, so technically it made its money back, but it's not over the profit margin yet. I think it'll get there because I don't see too much competition out here for a Denzel movie. And I know along with the actors' strike, I don't think there's a lot of promo going on. So a movie, you would have to have something with superstar actors to bring in people. Or the trailer has to be extremely captivating. Oh, Godzilla Minus dropped the trailer. So this is another Godzilla film. This is not a part of the MonsterVerse. This is gonna also be the 37th Godzilla film. Godzilla been putting in work, 37 movies. That's gonna be Fast and Furious. They gonna keep going on that. I don't see that stopping. They're just gonna keep going and going. Even if they have to replace the character, they're just gonna keep going with that. Anyway, it's written and directed by Takashi Yamazaki. The film is going to take place in the 40s, right after World War II. So Japan is in the midst of a rebuild, and Godzilla comes through and crushes the buildings again, just like Snoop. That has to be devastating to the people of Japan. And from the trailer, we didn't see a lot of Godzilla, but from what I saw, it looked very detailed. The monster looked so creative, and it looked like it was going. It's just an updated version of the original Godzilla. You know, I like all the designs basically, except the one where he was in New York. That was trash. It was good and entertainment when I was a kid, but once I grew up and started learning more of the Godzilla lore, and I look back on that, I was like, man, ain't no way. I can't really let them get away with that. So Godzilla Minus it's coming out November 3rd this year in Japan and December 1st for North America. I was scrolling the internet and I saw something called The Killer starring Michael Fassbender, so I clicked play. Of course, it's a Netflix movie called The Killer. It's based off of a French graphic novel written by Alex Nolan. It's a neo-noir psychological thriller about assassins. The trailer sold me. I'm gonna have to find a graphic novel so I can dive into it, so I can be more immersive when I watch the movie, or I can just go into it blind and just let somebody on YouTube do a review and break it down for me. But the film is directed by David Fincher. Amazing director. He did one of my favorite films, which is The Social Network. He also did Fight Club, Seven, Gone Girl, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, and Zodiac. So if you know those movies, they all have a very dark, gritty, psychological tone to him. So I really expect him to adapt that graphic novel into something that's great for the viewers, and he has a good cast in it. It's written by Andrew Kevin Walker, who worked on Sleepy Hollow, 8mm, and 7. The cinematography is going to be handled by Eric Messerschmidt, who is also another David Fincher collaborator, and they worked on Devotion, which is I haven't finished it, but it's a great, I think it's the same Devotion with Jonathan Majors, which is about a Navy pilot. So, and it's also starring, in my opinion, the GOAT German actor Michael Fassbender, who most people probably know as Magneto from X-Men First Class, the android in Prometheus. He played Steve Jobs, and he was in Inglourious Basterds. Michael Fassbender, I haven't seen a whack role from him yet. I don't think we will. He's one of those type of actors. All right, now I'm gonna roll into some veteran topics, which is I think where I'm gonna really get into the bag. As you can see behind me, this is a plank from the ship I was on, CVN 77 and USS George H.W. Bush. I'm a plank owner, which means I was a part of the original crew of the ship, the maiden crew on the ship back when it was a PCU, a pre-commissioned unit. So I saw it go from a hole in the Hampton Roads, Virginia shipyard to a full combat-ready aircraft carrier. I went on every single, well, I think I missed one because I was on another ship. I went on every underway out to sea training mission and mission to break the ship, to get it built up to go out to sea. It was a great time in my life. I would do it all over again if I had a chance to. I loved the people I met there. I loved the experiences I had. But it did burn me out of sea duty. That's one of the reasons why I didn't re-enlist. But I had a great time on this ship. I believe, since I'm a plank owner, every time I go back to the ship, they have to ring the bell and announce me arriving and announce me departing. I did, my 8 years was great as an aviation ordnanceman. IOIS, warheads on foreheads, arms of the fleet, death from above, all them other morbid sayings that we have. Hey, I got an immense amount of love for everybody, all the AOs that I met in the Navy. So, the Department of Defense, the DOD, has made some changes to the special leave accrual. It's instruction 1327.06, the Leave and Liberty Policy and Procedures. Now, previously, service members could keep 120 days, which was an allotment of 60 days of regular leave and 60 days of special leave. Now, it's 90 days, which is going to be 60 days of annual leave plus 30 days of special leave. To me, I don't like seeing anything that takes away from the military. It's already a huge burden and stress for people that join the military. If everything I've read so far, it's still 1% of the population that joins the military. So that's basically equivalent to a professional athlete. I don't know. I don't think you should take anything away. I think you should just give more, if that. You should only take away for if it's really needed, but I don't see why taking away leave is a good thing. It's already not a lot of leave, and I know when I was in, too many people didn't take leave that often. Maybe once, twice a year, if that. But it's a high stressful job, and you can tell by the suicide rates that have gone up in the military. And I don't think it's going to help to recruiting. From talking to recruiters and reading articles, the military is having a hard time recruiting, and I think that's because the newer generation just has all the information, and they don't want to be a part of the BS. Because contrary to popular belief, most people in the military just see it as a job. Everybody in there is not Captain America fighting for the American greater good or the American propaganda that's spread around the world. We understand what team we're on, we understand what side we're on, but it's not extremely that serious to everybody. But they still do their jobs, and they're great at their jobs. And I don't want to see the American military get turned into something that, I don't want to say evil, because of course it's seen as evil. We keep it 100, there's some BS that's been done around the world on behalf of the military, but not by always by the service members. It's usually by the politicians in charge. That's what I was getting at. Everybody in the military doesn't share the same political views or even share the views of politicians that send us off to fight different conflicts. Most people do believe they're doing something righteous, and the goal is to help out the world and preserve American freedom and independence. Like I said, I just think generations now, you can see the whole picture, and you can see the scope of the military and what the good the military has done, and also the negatives that the military has done. And I don't think generations going forward will want to be willingly to be pawns of part of that, because that's what we sign up for. Not too many people that join the military are ignorant or naive to what's going on, but you got to play the game. And by playing the game is that you kind of suppress your opinions about things, and you just listen to the orders, and you move up and make rank until you do have a better voice. I was in, and I had my opinions, but I played the game. I was also in with people that had their opinions, and like I was like, man, you talking too much. Like, of course we know what we're doing, but you fighting a fight that you're not gonna win. Number one, because you don't have the rank to fight this fight. Number two, you signed up for this. I did a little bit of research when I joined the Navy, not too much, because I didn't even know the Navy had an aviation side. I thought the Navy was all ships, and then you hung out on land for shore duty, then you went right back out to sea. I didn't know there was in between. I didn't know Navy pilots were the best pilots in the military. I didn't know Navy ordnance was cooler than all the other ordnance, but I quickly learned. I had my share of jobs. I think I could have been an ABF, which I can work with aircraft fuels. I could have been a dental technician, but my recruiter sold me on aviation ordnance, and when I went home and looked it up, I was like, oh yeah, that's lit. I like that. Number one, because they were red. And number two, the job sounds badass. And this is back when I wanted to be an arms dealer. I came in thinking that I was gonna come in and do my 5 years, soak up all the knowledge that I could about ordnance and ordnance logistics, and I was gonna get out and be a Lord of War. Shout out Nick Cage, man. All right, so Tricare premiums for reservists, young adults, retired reservists, and separating service members will overall increase 11.8% beginning January 1st, 2024. See, this is another reason why it's not an incentive to make people join. You're raising the premium health care for people. That's not good. Now, the healthcare is a good selling point for the military. I don't pay for healthcare, but I only really go for basic stuff. Now, if I really needed something serious, I think I would definitely have to step up. I probably had to step up my Tricare. But I usually, like I said, if I get a cold or something, if I hurt myself, I go and it's taken care of, where I pay a very small amount. Ooh, what else you got seen, man? Navy Sea Systems cannot find a Senate-elected leader. Now, Vice Admiral William Galinas recently retired after serving as the leader of Navy Sea Systems since 2020. His successor still has not been announced. Now, from what I know and what I've seen, that is not normal. Usually when a chain of command happens, there is a direct passover. It's not usually left unfilled by that position. So I had to do some research and I had to look up why. And from what I found is that Senator Tommy Tuberville, an Alabama Republican, he blocked the military confirmation process in February over a disagreement about the Pentagon's abortion policy. I mean, that's really petty, man. Senator Tuberville, that's really petty. So, according to a Pentagon spokesman, this is going to leave more than 300 flag and general officers held up from promotions and job assignments between now and the end of the year. And that figure can grow up to 650, according to the deputy Pentagon spokesman. I don't know what the Pentagon's abortion policy is. I'm going to have to look that up. But whatever it is, it was strong enough from this one senator to block the process of these service members. That is a loophole that I think needs to be fixed. That's something that needs to be left up to service members and not to senators. See, that's what I'm saying right there. That's one of the points I was bringing up about people in the military and politicians. Oh, I like this story. So the Navy MCPON, which stands for Master Chief Petty Officer of the Navy, no halo, is letting off some 50 cal rounds about hazing and what he calls counterfeit behaviors, organizational drift, and mediocre leadership amongst the chiefs. Now, the MCPON is the highest ranking enlisted member in the Navy, and their job is to address the issues of Navy's enlisted personnel. Now, I believe this is the 16th MCPON. His name is James Honea. MCPON Honea detailed his time through the Chiefs Mess, his Chiefs initiation, which took place in 1998. He talks about a charge book, which is a book that chief selectees carry around taking notes. He says this book was not something he took pride in. It was filled with profanity, insults, and he was embarrassed by it, so he ended up throwing it away. Now, hazing is a very slippery slope in the military. From the overall definition, you would want hazing taken away, because we always see people that go too far in the military, and especially in sports and in college atmospheres, and also some workplace atmospheres also. Now, it won't ever be eliminated. Even if you throw a wide net to stop hazing, you're still going to have individuals that are going to do it. I don't think it's ever going to stop unless you just come down with some extremely harsh penalties about it. Now, there's a very long history of sadistic, humiliating, degrading, and dangerous activities that have all came from hazing. In fact, people have died from hazing before, and from hearing retired chiefs and just doing study, chief hazing has gotten so bad before. The tradition of the chief selectee hazing was threatened to be completely eliminated back in the 90s. I do think in the military, some traditions need to be kept, but they need to be updated. If you want to keep retention high, you kind of have to bend towards the people that are coming in. I know that kind of contradicts what I said before, but so if a new generation is coming in and they're slightly softer or more mentally and emotional, adept to the previous generations, you're gonna have to acquiesce to that. And I'm not taking a complete shot at Gen Z, because every generation that comes before is a little bit more comfortable than the generation previous to them. It's just how the evolution of the world works. But a certain level of fortitude, physically and mentally, does need to be kept in the military. Like, there's a line that doesn't need to be broken, and a line that needs to be kept. Like, standards need to be kept, because look, if you start getting a military that's mentally and physically weaker, especially in America, like I said, it's a lot of BS in the world that has gone on at the hands of the United States military. It will come back around, and someday it's going to come back around, and you want the military there to be that buffer to the American people. That's one of the reasons why we're able to go all over the globe and handle conflicts. But you never see countries ever come into America trying to handle conflicts. Like, for example, if the KKK were to drive a plane into a building in Africa or in Great Britain, you probably won't see African military, you won't see British military invading America looking for the KKK. And I made that example because they are terrorists, just like ISIS and the Taliban. But I was a part of hazing in the Navy, very small scale, I knew it was coming, and I was a willing participant. Plus, I'm 6'1" and I'm 200 plus pounds, so if anything with a guy in the hand, or I would have felt uncomfortable, I would have dead that and stopped all that, But I saw it as a traditional thing. It wasn't too crazy. I'm not gonna go into details about that because I want to protect the people that were a part of it. But when you start, I've seen some of the hazing in the military. Some of it, like I said, is humiliating, and I think it's levels that come with that. I've seen it come from special ops in the military, and I've seen it come from basic military. I'm repeating myself now when I say just now, just making somebody do push-ups or work out a little extra hard or just do something that isn't normal, I don't believe that's hazing. It may be for discipline, or it may just be to get a point across. Now, for example, I was a second fleet sailor, which that's the Atlantic Ocean. AKA I was a polywog, which means I did not cross the equator. I wanted to go through the shellback ceremony, which is usually reserved for West Coast sailors because they go through the Pacific and they cross the equator. Now, the shellback ceremony could be considered hazing. Not could be, I'm pretty sure it is considered hazing. I've seen some of that go down, and of course there was times I was like, man, ain't no fucking way. You know what? I know I'm in the military, but I'm not doing that shit. But that's one thing I left out on my military career is I wanted to be a shellback just because I wanted that title. I was really all about the Navy when I was in there. You can't see that. I think I'm gonna make a video, but my whole right arm is Sailor Jerry and Navy themed tattoos, and each piece has a different story and a different meaning to naval stuff. You can't see it in that light, so I'm gonna have to get a little bit closer. I may make my own separate video for that. All right, I'm gonna go back to Master Chief. So the counterfeit behaviors that he was talking about, he said the Chiefs Mess has become too focused on responsibilities and tasks that are outside of the job, like fundraising, t-shirt sales, belt buckles, coins, bumper sticker stuff about being a chief petty officer. That's funny, man. Like I said, MCPON is letting off some shots on the Chiefs Mess. He believes those activities are driving the attention away from the mission of the mess, taken away from the knowledge and leadership within the Navy ranks. So that was a topic kind of shitting on the Navy. So I want to end it by saying thank you to all the chiefs and khakis that were in my life. So khakis, when you hit a certain rank in the Navy, when you're an officer or you hit E7, your uniform you turns from you wear khakis instead of just a regular uniform that E1 through E6 wear, but now everybody wears camis, so just your anchors turn into like a gold color. They don't turn into like gold color. You get gold anchors on your uniform, so that's where the term khakis comes from. Everybody, all the chiefs and officers in my career, y'all provided great leadership and examples on what it was to be an amazing sailor. My Navy career and my experiences I had would not be the same without the stunning like khakis that I had. Like I could do a whole video about just them. Like I don't think it was one chief that I came across that I didn't like. Wait, there was one. Not that I didn't like them. I just found out and heard some stuff about them that I didn't like. But like I said, I never even found out if that was true. It was just a sea story and just some Navy BS. But like I said, my overall experience is amazing. It was amazing, and I probably would not have lasted as long without the leadership that I had in the Navy. And everybody I came in with, the E1s I came in with, are now all, from what I can see, for the most part, they're all khakis, they're all officers, they're all chiefs, doing great, leading the new generation of the Navy. All right, that was a vibe killer, so I'm gonna get some happy Navy stories. So, a SAR team, SAR, which stands for Search and Rescue Team from Naval Air Station Whidbey Island, rescued 2 hikers from the Alpine Lakes Wilderness this month. One of the rescues was a 25-year-old woman who became sick after hiking at the Watapis Lake at an elevation of 3,200 feet. A different rescue the same day was a 65-year-old man hiking around the same lake who got a head injury. Both were successfully evacuated and taken to the Harbor View Medical Center. And from looking this up, man, the Whidbey Island SAR team has been cooking this year. They've completed 28 missions, including some medical evacuation and 4 searches and 23 rescues. So shout out to the SAR team at Whidbey Island. Man, did we get over that? Oh, yeah. Oh, some tech and science. Oh, man, throw up some banners or something around here. Happy birthday. Google turned 25. The world's favorite search engine. I don't know anybody that uses Bing. Shout out to Ask Jeeves if you're old enough to remember what that was. It still might be around. I think, let me look this up. So, Google was founded September 4th, 1978 by the computer scientist homies Larry Page and Sergey Brin while they were PhD students at Stanford University. Google now has a net worth of $1,663 billion. Now I might throw up a photo of Larry Page and Sergey Brin because I think humanity owes them a thank you. If you see them around, you should chunk them up to deuces. You should say, hey, thank you guys. Thank you for revolutionizing the way that we get information. Thank you for creating a search engine. Thank you for optimizing my life. Because we're at the point now where there's some humans who only know life with Google and search engines being the main source of information. If you tell them to go find a book and do some research for hours, or tell them that's how things had to be done, they'll probably look at you like you're a different species. But I'm gonna just give some history of that. Let's go all the way back to the far ancient civilization of 1995. This is back when Google was called Backrub, and it used a data collection search engine called PageRank, which would list websites by its relevance. Yeah, that's the word. That's how you say it. So this laid the foundation for Google. Larry and Sergey were maxing out credit cards using old computer parts to put together their dream. Then the co-founder of Sun Microsystems, Andy Bektoshim, I don't know if I said that right, Andy, my bad. He invested a $100 check to Google Inc. And $1 in a dream later, the world was revolutionized. Well, $1 and a $100,000 dream later. Well, $100,000 in a dream later, the world was revolutionized. Jeff Bezos was also an early investor in Google. So, look, always have perseverance, man. Never give up on your tech goals. The world is only going to get more tech. One day I'm going to get there. I have dreams of being a tech entrepreneur, and I'm getting closer and closer every day. So, we're coming to the end. Coming to the end of the vibes. Coming to the end of the trip. Coming to the end of the trip, so we're going to end it on another positive vibe, man. Like I said, an Eastern Michigan University football player, Brain Dooley, gave his full ride scholarship to his teammate Zack Conti. Now the team found out Zack was working multiple jobs and donating plasma, just trying to financially stay afloat, man. And for a teammate to give up his full ride scholarship to another teammate, that's amazing to hear. Because you don't hear too many stories like that often, because it's so hard to come across a full ride somewhere. But like I said, man, don't let the dismal news or the social media cycle convince you that decent humans aren't still around. No, thank you for vibing with me, taking a ride on this first journey. I think I learned a lot. I gotta watch this back. I'm gonna clear up my mistakes and where I messed up talking, but I got tired of procrastinating and trying to get this out. I was listening to one of my favorite comedians, Godfrey, talk about his podcast, his YouTube show, and it just motivated me just to throw something out there. Stop trying to make everything so perfect. Stop trying to get my vision just exactly right, just to match how other people's shows look as far as quality. I'm gonna get there, but I had to do this so I can just get this out there. Like I said, put one footstep at a time. Every background, you see these pictures back here? I'm gonna slide this way. These are all, well, this is painted by me. It's supposed to be an R for my daughter, but these more pictures everywhere. My mom paints these. She started picking up abstract painting right after my dad died, and she has a whole art collection of these now. So if anybody's interested, I'm gonna link her Instagram at the bottom, but it's ran by me, so don't be talking to her crazy. Try if you want to buy, they're all for purchase. And yo, like I said, thank you. We're about to land, we're about to dock, and we're gonna be taken out by Azandria.